This is the PCSRA Radio Network and the Blue Hedgehog TV. We now interrupt your regular scheduled programming for the following sports special. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the International Motorsports Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast, retransmission, or other disseminations or the use of this broadcast, descriptions, or accounts of this show without the express written consent of the International Motorsports Association is prohibited. On the PCSRA Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to the IMSA Podcast presented by Toyota. Here's the voice of the PCSRA, Daniel Voiles.
And hello and good afternoon and welcome out here to the IMSA Podcast, as the IMSA Podcast is on the air here on the PCSRA Radio Network, the Blue Hedgehog TV, brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Daniel Voiles here in our amazing studios, as welcome to the IMSA Podcast for this amazing show on the planet on October 13th, 2020. I want to say happy birthday to my dad. Hopefully he has a good birthday tomorrow, so that's something we're excited. So welcome aboard to this great show, and all that good stuff. Before we get started, I've got a few announcements before we get started. We'll be live on Twitch later, so we'll probably do some F1 2020 so I can get that uploaded and ready for next week. That way you guys are excited about that. Other announcements are, if you missed what I said yesterday on the paddock match for PCSRA, you might want to go check that out as soon as you can, so no rush. So with that being said, let's go ahead and introduce the two panelists that are here for this episode. Joining me for the IMSA Podcast is Mr. Nathan Orman and Zachary Taylor. And for some reason, I forgot to put the speaker on. That's okay. It's fine. When does Taylor ever learn the sentence not to do the creepiness? Oh God, here we go again. Yeah, and by the way, I am about to smack this app in about 3 seconds from now, because it wants to be a derping grandpa. So it wants to derp when I didn't want it to derp, so yeah. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the Charlotte Roval, because it was the only race of the weekend was, of course, the GT class. Actually, let's just do this, make it easier. Go to the IMSA website, because the app is drunk. So, recapping the, okay, phone, do I need to smack you now or later? Phone is about to get smacked. That was not what I wanted, you stupid phone. What part of, let me pull up the schedule and you send me the wrong deal, do you not understand, you derping grandpa? Okay. Oh, you son of a motherless child. There we go, now we got it. There we go. Okay, we got it. Okay, so let's discuss. Yeah, the Charlotte Roval was really good. I mean, I don't have anything to say about this race other than, you know, it was a fun race and all that. And with this being the only series that had practice and qualifying, it was really interesting, if you know what I mean. So let's run through the full results for GT Le Mans. Antonio Garcia, Jordan Taylor got the win in GT Le Mans, which, by the way, is only a GT weekend because that was in place of Lime Rock. John Edwards, Jesse Curran second, Connor D, Felipe, Bruno Spangler third, Tommy Miller, Oliver Gavin fourth, which they had some damage to their car because they hit the pit wall, which it's a boy. And the two Porsches of Freddie Mataricicki and Nick Tandy and Lawrence Vanderwood Earl Bamber had a lot of problems, and they were unfortunately out of the race, so sucks for them. For GT Daytona, the top 10 results: Bill Overland, Robert Foley, BMW 1, Patrick Long, Ryan Hardwick 2nd, Roman De Angelis, Ian James 3rd, Townsend Bell, Michael De Quesa 4th, Avalo Pranti, Misha Goldenberg 5th, Spencer Pompelli, Robert Ferroli 6th, Mario Fombacher, Matthew McMurray 7th, Jack Hawksworth, Aaron Telez 8th, Paul Horn, Jeff Kingsley 9th, Lawson, Oschenbach, and Gar Robertson completed the top 10. Then it was Andy Lally, John Potter, and Till Bonashimi, Mark Miller round out the field in GT Daytona. So, guys, what were your thoughts on the road course at Charlotte? I know we talked about it, you know, being good for NASCAR, but what you guys thought about it for IMSA? I'll start with you, Mr. Taylor. Yep. Nathan Orman. Yep. It was really a good race. I mean, a lot of questions, you know, with the rain. And of course, racing at night is something you don't see at the Charlotte Roval unless you're doing like testing. So, yeah. What would you guys put on the rating scale? Taylor, I'll start with you. I'm going to say a 10 because of the fact that, you know, these drivers, you know, really did a good job because they had to get used to, you know, where the starts and restarts are, and it really made it exciting. So I give it a nice little 10 as well. So, not a bad rating scale, I would have to say, and I really do wish they do come back, if you know what I mean. So, if something were to happen, so with the schedule next year, so, but we'll see about that. Anyway, let's get into, first of all, what was our let me see something real quick because I'm not 100% confident. I need to check what was our last. Wait a second, 920. Oh, I need to update the playlist when I get a chance. What was the last IMSA podcast? 928. Yeah, 928. Yeah, it was 928. I gotta update the freaking playlist because I've done a lousy job of not updating the IMSA podcast. I'll fix the playlist when I get a chance. Fully clothed and not with fairy tale lives. So, while we are fixed, I'm sorry. Oh, the oofage had to come out. So. See, I need to do a better job of updating the playlist, but I'll fix it eventually, trust me. It will get fixed eventually, trust me. Okay, that is the reaction. So I think that is it, because I don't think I had anything else that I need to update, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry? Oh, good lord. Oh, great, we have an Orman cow. What else is new? I'm just going through to make sure I didn't... Okay, that's how far it can go. Okay, let me just type this. No, thank you. Thank you very much. Sheesh. What part of don't throw a grandma's cookie if you don't understand? What in... I got no comment. But anyway, I think that's it on the updated playlist. But anyway, let's get right to the, Oh, you son of a cherry goat. I was on the right one, then I accidentally hit the wrong button. GG me. Anyway. Alright, so let's talk about some IMSA news or World Endurance, because this might also mean we might, name it, like, the IMSA World Endurance Podcast for next year, so... of course, the 2021 provisional calendar for World Endurance is out, so I'm not going to go over that. Anyway, let's talk about the first news of the IMSA podcast since we were last with you, which was last week. So, the IMSA, which is International Motorsports Association, SCCA, Sports Car Club of America, that I'm awesome, which I represent, two legendary organizations responsible for cultivating sports car racing in the U.S. today announced a collaboration aimed at connection with motorsports enthusiasts. Both organizations are partnered to offer a clear-cut path for involving in both amateur and professional U.S. road racing and foster the next generation of workers, crews, and drivers. What's you guys' thoughts on that? Very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to go, if you know what I mean, so. Hi, Great Lakes. Next topic I want to go over, and this is a question to both of you. Mazda has announced that they will reduce presence in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship next year, moving down towards a single factory DPI program. The Japanese manufacturer has confirmed that it will enter only a one Mazda DPI for Oliver Javis and Harry Tinkle in 2021, with Jonathan Bomarita retained for the Michelin Endurance Cup races. Tristan Nunez, who has been a part of Mazda's prototype program since its inception in 2014, will remain a brand ambassador and assistant with vehicle dynamics within the Multic-Run program, according to Mazda's spokesperson. The decision to reduce its DPI efforts comes amid a shift of resources, including an evaluation of the LMDH platform that is set to become eligible in the WeatherTech Championship in 2022. It will mark the first time Mazda has run only one car in the top class. What is your reaction to that news, guys? Zachary Taylor? It is, because, you know, they've been really doing good, and I don't know why. But I think it had probably, you know, something to do with, you know, COVID-19 having an issue this year and all that, but it's just my ultimate guess, if you ask me, so. Hate to see the 77 go, but that's the way it goes, if you know what I mean, so. Yeah. Next topic, and this was on my mom's birthday, by the way. Joao Barbosa has been dropped from JDC Miller Motorsports lineup with immediate effect, with the two-time IMSA prototype champion out of the number 5 Mustang sampling sponsored Cadillac for the two remaining races of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship this season. Tristan Valtier will assume driving duties of the car alongside Sebastien Bourdais, with Luc Duval still scheduled as the third driver for the Petite Le Mans and the season-ending Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring. A reason for Barbosa's departure has not been disclosed. The Portuguese drivers have long been associated with Mustang sampling, having with the sponsored move from Action Express Racing to the Minnesota-based team this year. Thoughts on that? I'll start with Taylor. What's your thoughts about that right there? What about you, Nathan Norman? Are you really shocked about this?
Yes, I am shocked.
I don't think anybody saw this one coming, if you ask me, so, but we'll see how it goes, if you know what I mean. Next topic. This is the big shocker nobody saw coming. Max Angelelli sells share of Wayne Taylor Racing, departs team to focus on family in Italy. He is no longer a partner in Wayne Taylor Racing, with the championship-winning driver set to focus on life away from the racetrack with his family in Italy. Angelelli sold half share of the Indiana-based team to Wayne Taylor in August, ending one of the most successful partnerships in modern-day sports car racing. Though Angelelli's duties as a driver prior to his retirement in 2017, as well as in driver, team, and manufacturer roles, the 53-year-old had played an influential part in WTR's success in both top-level IMSA competition as well as expansion into a single-making racing with Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America. Of course, you know, they have like 3 overall victories and IMSA championships, you know, with the Rolex 24 and all that, so. Thoughts on about this and thoughts about Angelelli parting ways with the team, selling half of it. Nathan Norman, will start with you. Taylor, what about you? Yep. Colin Brown is going to make his debut in the 24 Hours of Spa later this month, so want to wish him good luck in that respect, as I hit the wrong button. So next one, this is going to be a discussion for both of you to answer. Era Motorsports has withdrawn from the remainder of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship season due to a back injury for Dwight Marion in last month's 24 Hours of Le Mans. Marion and team owner driver Kyle Tilley currently sit second in the LMP2 standings, although have vowed to return in 2021. Tilley said, quote, "While we're disappointed to not finish out our first season in sports car racing, this was the right call. This has been a chaotic year, to say the least, and it has taken a lot of work for any race team to keep running during this time. We managed to do that, but following the Le Mans crash, it's time for us to regroup, let Dwyer finish recovering, and start building our program for next year," end quote. What's you guys' thoughts about Era Motorsports not returning for the final 3 races, but expecting to come back in 2021? Taylor, I'll start with you. What about you, Nathan Norman? Yep. Next topic, which actually is the last topic, unless we get some more news. AJ Allmendinger, who, by the way, we'll discuss this on the weekly show next week, is the first official confirmed driver for Mike Shank Racing's Acura DPI program and is set to contest January's Rolex 24 in 2021 as the team's fourth pilot. Okay with that decision? Taylor, what about you? Yeah, gonna be weird to get used to, gonna be weird getting used to, in Acura, because that's the thing, though, so. Alright, I believe that is it for the top story news, but if we get some more between now and next week's show, which there's a good chance there might be some news, I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so with that all taken care of, let's talk about Road Atlanta Petite Le Mans. Now, we were at Road Atlanta the last time we were there for the 6-hour race to make up for Watkins Glen. We're back to Road Atlanta for the Petite Le Mans, the 10-hour race that is scheduled to start at, what, 12:30 Eastern Time or something like that? I don't know. And it's like 12:30 Eastern, and it goes 10 hours, so it'll be probably done around 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, we talked about Road Atlanta, you know, a few weeks ago, which was back in around August. We previewed Road Atlanta, or September 15th we previewed Road Atlanta, which ironically enough it's been a month since we were last at Road Atlanta. Do you guys think we learned something from watching the race in September, and what do you think the drivers learned from that race that will carry them over to the 10-hour marathon coming up this weekend?
That's going to be interesting. Because Road Atlanta, for the most of the Petite Le Mans, is going to be interesting. Because, you need to expect the unexpected sometimes.
Alright. Zachary Taylor, what about you?
Well, most definitely, I think some of the drivers and teams probably will be able to use some of their notes from the 6-hour race that they did not too long ago at Road Atlanta. I think some of those drivers and teams will probably be able to use some of that to their advantage. And who knows what we'll see. I mean, I'm sure we'll probably see a lot of good racing, and who knows what we're going to see, to be honest.
It's going to be interesting, because if that 6-hour race was any indication, we're in for a good one this weekend. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Got a little news I need to go ahead and pass along before I forget. 5-time champion and current IndyCar points leader Scott Dixon, along with will be joining Ryan Briscoe and Ringer Vanders for Petite Le Mans. That number 10 for Wayne Taylor Racing. Wanted to pass that along to you guys. Yep. Are you alright? Okay. So, that's going to be interesting to see how that will play out, if you know what I mean, so we'll see how that goes for him. Alright, keys to the race, guys. 1 key from Orman, 1 key from Taylor, and 1 key from me. Orman, I'll start with you. What about you, Zachary Taylor? For your key of the race.
Well, I think something that pay attention to for these team drivers is to not get too carried away with their equipment early in the race. Turn their equipment up early with this being a 10-hour race and everything. Because, of course, if you burn your equipment up early in the race, you're not going to be able to take home a checker flag. So, that's going to be something to keep an eye on.
I think for me is don't end up like what we saw in the 6-hour race where somebody gets a giant wheel spin, spins in front of the entire field, because starts and restarts, you got to be very careful. We saw this in the 6-hour race, you know, where drivers had issues on the start of the race and all heck broke loose. So I keep an eye on the restarts and starts of the races. So, gonna be interesting to see how that'll play out, if you know what I mean. So, nice motivational belch, Taylor. So, yeah, that's something we want to point out for our keys to the race. Now, before we get into our final thoughts, why don't we take a look at this week's upcoming events and our upcoming amazing show brought to you by Red Carpet Charter, the official charter company of the PCS Array. Of course, we'll have the IMSA Podcast next week, but a date and a time has not been determined as far as that is concerned. So we'll see how that will go. So, should be interesting to see how they'll play out. So, yep, the IMSA Podcast will be back next week, but a time and a date has not been determined, so we'll keep an eye on that so far. Looking at other events, including our PCS Array Weekly show, by the way, is back next week, as we're going to recap Kansas. By the way, that also answers the question, what happens to the races that we didn't discuss. For Charlotte, it's on Paddock Pass PCS Array, because I'm going to only recap that when we don't have the weekly show. And that will be a full-time show on my own for next year. So hopefully you all understand. If you don't, you can DM me about that, and I'll try to explain it perfectly. So, I'm sorry, Orman? Nice motivational belch. So yeah, that is a look at this week's upcoming IMSA and PCS Array Weekly Show events, brought to you by Red Carpet Charter, the official charter company of the PCS Array. Final thoughts, guys? Zachary Taylor, I'll start with you.
Most definitely. Coming off a good debut under the lights at the Roval. Now we go back to Road Atlanta. I think we're going to see a really good race at Road Atlanta for sure, most definitely.
Nathan Norman, what about you?
Definitely to see how IMSA does at Road Atlanta, and let's hope that everybody does something good.
I think Road Atlanta for me is, if it's like what we saw in the 6-hour race, no doubt it's going to be exciting for the 10 hours. So should be a lot of fun. So again, Road Atlanta this weekend. The race will be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. That is when we will have live coverage for that with AJ Allmendinger, Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, and the amazing crew of NBCSN. We'll have that exciting race. We also have the GT3 Cup Challenge. They will start racing at 8 a.m. Eastern, race 2 at almost 2 o'clock Eastern, and 10 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning, and all that. So that's going to be exciting, and should be a fun, exciting race. Also, we have the Pilot Challenge, or the Prototype Challenge, and we also have the Michelin Pilot Challenge. So that'll be fun. As we'll see how that race weekend will be here today. So that's going to be fun, and we're looking forward to that. And then we'll take a long break until we go to Sebring to make up our race weekend back in March, if you know what I mean. So that will be exciting if you ask me. So it should be fun, and hopefully we're looking forward to a great race so far in that matter so far. I'm trying to see how many I don't know how many cars are on the entry list. Oh, here it is. Yeah. We have 8 DPIs, 4 LMP2s, 6 GT Le Mans, 13 GT Daytonas for this weekend, so, yeah. And we'll talk about the Brandon Jones next week on the weekly show, so that is going to be fun. Alright, if you guys want to go restart the call in the President's Chat, I will meet you over there. So, alright, have fun. So I can wrap up the show, so I'll see you guys over there. Alright, so, hi Sean. So that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to do that in a good way, so should be a lot of fun so far. So, yeah. The Oklahoma Highway Safety Office is a proud partner of the IMSA Podcast and also the PCSRE Weekly Show, and remind all of our friends that drinking and driving is deadly and illegal. Together we will end DUI. Visit endyok.com for more details. Should be a great weekend. It is the third race of 4 for the for the Endurance Cup, and then we're off to Sebring for the 12 hours of Sebring to make up back in March. Only one race to go after this weekend for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championships and other classes. That's going to be exciting so far. Yeah, or actually, we have a couple of more races to go. I forgot. We have Monterey and then Sebring. So, yeah. So after this, 2 races to go, 2 more episodes of the IMSA Podcast. That'll be exciting. So, yeah. Want to thank our awesome crew today, Nathan Orman, Zachary Taylor, also our awesome weekly show people, Kaya Langland, Cody Goforth, Cody Smart, Dave, our amazing crew that have been here for the IMSA Podcast and also the weekly show. Our statistician, Caleb Hobbs, producer and engineer, Zachary Fitzwater, Jackie Tang, Alex Hawkins, Dennis Stats Kelly, our spotter, Greg Wood Black, engineer, producer, Michael Dean, Tom Shores, and Greg Rutz, our sideline engineer, Crystal Fontaine, our PCS expert, and Daniel Johnson running the show for us back in our Learfield IMG College Network Studios. Normally I would do this on the weekly show, but because we don't have a weekly show this week, I'll do it anyway. So, final score one final time from Saturday at the Cotton Bowl of the Red River Showdown in quadruple overtime. It was my OU Sooners 53, Greg Rutz and Texas 45. Until next week when we preview the Laguna Sega weekend, this is Daniel Vola saying, Sooners win, and Boomers sooner, everybody.
This IMSA Podcast has been brought to you by Budweiser, Love's Travel Stops, iHeartMedia, The Oklahoman, Newcastle Casino, Devon Energy, Sonic Drive-Ins, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, Harkins Theaters, and by Chevrolet. Thanks for listening to the IMSA Podcast. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the PCSRA Sports Network. Copyright 2020 by the Pacifica Sports Racing Association and the International Motorsports Association Incorporated.